Class, welcome back to the third video here of our perspective city drawings. Today what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some windows and doors onto our buildings and add some architectural patterns to the buildings as well. I'm just going to show you two of them today, but they're very similar to one another. So the first thing is this. Once you get kind of the base of your city down with your buildings, your roads, then you can start adding some details. And the first thing I want to do is I want to add some windows and doors. And they're very similar to one another, windows and doors are. What you want to make sure you keep in mind is you always want to start a window and door with two vertical lines, straight up and down. Okay, two of them, straight up and down. So let's say, for example, I want to put a window on this building right here. I want to take my ruler, and I'm just going to draw in two vertical lines, straight up and down, okay, just like that. Okay, it's a bigger window, but that's okay. So they're parallel with one another, they're straight up and down. Now what I want to do is this, the top and the bottom of this window will line up to vanishing point A. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my ruler, line up the top of this first line I drew that's kind of closest to the middle of the building, and I want to line it to vanishing point A and just draw a line right there. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. All right, take that line, line it up to vanishing point A. I'm just going to draw a line like this. And you have a shape of a window on your building. Now you need to make sure that you do follow the vanishing points. Otherwise, if you start putting them in, your windows look like they're kind of falling out or kind of popping out at you. This way it looks like you got a nice window. The lines are going to the correct vanishing point. You got lines that are parallel with the side of your buildings. All right, and it does. It looks like it fits. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, too, is this. If you do the same building, I put a window over here on the other side of the building, one kind of thing to keep in mind is this. You always start out with your two lines straight up and down, but for the top and bottom of your window, you use the vanishing point you use for the top and bottom of the side of the building. And in this case, we use vanishing point B for the top of the side of this building. So for a window, we want to do the same thing. We're going to go over here, and we're also going to go ahead and use the top for vanishing point B, boom, and the bottom as well for vanishing point B, just like that. Okay, so that's a window putting over there. Now a door is very similar. I want to go ahead and I want to put a door over here. All right, we're going to make kind of a thinner door to begin with. I want to go ahead, once again, lines straight up and down. Very, very repetitive this is, okay? Straight up and down, they're parallel with the edges of my building. All right, you want to go ahead and draw a line to vanishing point B because that's where the top of this building goes, or went, I should say. And we're going to go ahead and put a little line right here, boom, just like this. And you can go back in and add like handles on here if you want to put like a line going across here for, you know, maybe a handle that comes across for the tide. That's perfectly all right. If you wanted to make a wider door, maybe you want to do something like a garage door, all you do is this. You put a line right here, straight up and down, move it a little bit farther over, straight up and down as well. Once again, you use the top of the line to vanishing point A. Why? Because that's where the top of this building went. Boom, you're good to go. And you can always do this too. This is kind of fun to do. Watch me do this. I'm going to put a mark here, a mark here. I kind of evened out some dots here. All right? And by doing so, go ahead, line up those dots to vanishing point A. All right? And it looks like I got panels for my garage door right there. Huh, very cool. All right, so that's adding windows and doors. Now, if you're going to do windows and doors on your side building, same thing, okay? Let's put a door right here. Two lines straight up and down. Top goes to vanishing point A. You got your door. The only exception is this one. If you put a window or door on the side of the building that's kind of facing you, once again, you start with two lines straight up and down, but the top and the bottom of your window will go straight across. Okay? And the reason why that is because the top and the bottom of this building right here, bottom and top, went straight across as well. Okay? So that's windows and doors. Next thing is this, architectural patterns. If we have architectural patterns and we want to put them in on, say, these buildings, let's go ahead. I'm going to start with a building right here. One thing I found out is this. When you start putting these architectural patterns like siding and bricks and glass and stuff on the sides of your buildings, you want to make sure you get your windows and doors established first. Then you can go ahead and kind of fill in the space around them. All right, so what I want to do is this. I want to find my middle line of this building. Remember we started out, we had line 1, 2, and 3, our middle line. We want to take that middle line, line number 2, and I'm going to take my ruler. And taking my ruler and some measurements on here, I want to go ahead and do equal measurements up and down this line. Basically, we're turning the line into kind of a ruler itself. And I want to go ahead and I like to take every 1/4 of an inch. Now, if you don't know what that is, you look at the inch markers on your ruler, and can you break it down into sections? You got from like 5 to 6 here. Halfway in between is a 1/2 inch. Halfway between that is a 1/4 of an inch. Okay? Some rulers are a little bit easier to kind of read and kind of navigate, but do your best. Okay? If you want to do 1/2 inch sections, by all means, do 1/2 inch. So each one of these marks, if you see, I got all these little marks on here, all these little ticks, these notches. Each one of those notches is going to line up to the vanishing point. All right? I'm going to take this mark, going to line it up right here. All right? I'm going to slide it down. All right? Line it up right there. All right, now, when you start crossing over your doors and windows, make sure you don't draw your line over the top of your door and window. Kind of draw on either side of it, okay? Takes a little time, okay? It becomes a little meticulous, but with some effort, they turn out really fun. All right? Now, that's an example of siding, that I got right here. If you wanted to do something like bricks over on the other side, you take your same marks, but this time you're going to use vanishing point B because that's where the top and the bottom of the building went, kind of like with the windows and doors. All right, we're going to go ahead, use vanishing point B all the way along here. All right, I'm just going to finish this up right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw in some brick lines on here. Oop, gosh, got to make sure that always lines up on vanishing point B. Sometimes I get go a little too fast myself, and I got to slow down a little bit, Carlson. Come on. All right, so there we go. We've got this right here. Then what I want to do is this, you guys. Taking my ruler, okay, straight up and down in the middle line of the building here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide it over. And every other section is going to have a parallel or a vertical line. All right, just a little one. Slide it over there. And I'm going to skip them now, right? Like I said, every other section. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate it and do every other section I didn't do before and put a vertical line. Keep sliding it back. Now, once again, be careful of your door here. I'm just going to go kind of work around that door, slide it back some more. I don't have to put any more on there because my door takes up the space. All right, look at that. That is pretty cool. I always love doing this. All right, put one here and put one down there. All right, I'm going to kind of finish it up here, you guys. All right, so that should be pretty good. So I've got my bricks on this side. I've got my siding over here. All right, I started to add some textures to these cities. Okay. Now, one last thing I want to leave you guys with is this. If you wanted to go ahead and kind of add some kind of roofs or whatnot onto your buildings, a couple easy things you could do. If you wanted to do like kind of a steeple or a pointed roof here, one thing you could do is this. We're going to go ahead and maybe put like a point almost right in the center of where this building is. Okay. I want to take each one of my 3 points here at the top of the building, and they're all, once again, going to be drawn right to that point. Right? And that creates almost kind of like I said, like a little kind of steeple type shape on the top of your building. Okay, and that's kind of fun to add on. If you wanted to do more kind of like a pitched roof, what I do is I take a side of the building. Let's say we're going to take this side right here. I take the halfway mark, put a point up here, and then I connect these up to create kind of a triangle shape on just one side of the building. Look at that triangle shape right there. And you can see it got a little triangle shape. The top of that triangle has a line that goes to the vanishing point A. Okay, like that. And I'm just going to go ahead. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. Notice I didn't take the line all the way back. I'm going to take my ruler right here. I'm going to slide it back almost at the same angle. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of make another line here. And I got to come back a little bit farther with the top there. And boom, you have your pitched roof. Now I can go ahead and kind of clean it up a little bit. All right, some of the areas that you might not see because you've got some shingles and everything else on top of your roof, you should be good to go. So there we go. We've got our city kind of started here. We started to add some details, and it's coming along, looking really fun. Thank you, everybody. I'm hoping that everything's turning out really well. And remember, if you have any questions later on, please make sure you contact me.